Same house, level to the shit. Little nigga, we don't try the same whips, we don't fuck the same chicks, level to the shit. Little nigga, we don't get the same paper, you a motherfucking ass boy, level to the shit. Little nigga, cause level to the shit. Little nigga, cause level to the shit.
If this is the biggest experience you're ever going to have, it's beautiful. If you're all going to have bigger ones, now you've had that training of bigger and more meaning all the time.
Yep.
And both guys sporting the black trunks. Rocky Ramon Nava has the braids in his hair. He is cornered by LT Smash Nelson as well as Rocky Sr. And then you have Joseph Herr in the black and red trunks being cornered by Gilbert Smith as well as Dylan Killer King.
Oh, man, you just see how complex these little dudes are, you know?
Yeah, both got the same build.
Yep. And these guys are showing little feints, all the things we've been talking about through the night. Like, we're just the levels raising each fight as we go, you know?
Sure.
Rocky Nava is doing a lot of level changes, trying to set up those potential entries, whether it be on the feet or whether he decides to shoot.
Man, and when Joseph ducked under, Rocky responded super well to that too, eh?
It's
driving forward.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to come forward like that because you have so much confidence in your wrestling and your scrambling ability. You know, if you don't have that confidence, it's hard to commit to forward striking like that.
Well, we're referencing history that had a Vitor Belfort, early Vitor Belfort kind of approach.
It did.
Oh, yeah. All out blitz.
This is a good feint on the low kick there to his hands. Joseph looks like he's having a hard time kind of finding his own rhythm, right? He's reacting a lot.
But I feel like he's learning, you know? Like you can feel him learning.
That left hand was strong right there by Joseph.
Yes, it was. Jeez, these two dudes are throwing.
Yeah, they're throwing haymakers.
But Rocky is a Aroldis Chapman in there throwing fastballs.
I can feel Joseph just gathering information.
It'd be interesting to see what Joseph goes. Ooh, good right hand by Rocky. It'd be interesting to see Joseph went jab to the body and Rocky reacted hard thinking it was wrestling. Might feint that and throw an overhand.
Yeah. Or give him some wrestling.
Yeah. Just make him worried about everything, you know. Both guys.
Even old school, I was talking to Chuck Liddell once, and I was asking him about some of these moments, and he's like, he said, Robin, and again, keeping it simple, he's like, Robin, you know, I basically punch him when he thinks he's in a wrestling match. And there's a moment in a fight when he thinks he's in a wrestling match. That's when I punch him. And it's actually profound because that's true. All you have to do is trick his brain into thinking there's something else happening that is happening.
Right there by Rocky Nava. Looked like all four of those punches in that sequence landed.
Yeah, he's throwing punches and bunches,
Yeah,
which you don't see a lot in the amateurs. Good defense there.
Dude, he just dropped his own hips right down, reactively super smart. This is a great fight.
Yeah, and you wonder how demoralizing that is to someone like Joseph, who's been able to out-wrestle everyone he's fought, you know.
Such a tricky game, man. You're right.
Good round one, man.
Real good round.
Look at that for a second. For the people watching at home, how does that feel psychologically when your bread and butter gets stopped? When the thing that is normally your go-to, that if nothing else, this is what you revert back to and this works, and that gets stuffed. What is that feeling like? What are you trying to process cognitively in that moment?
Well, it's always changing, right? The first time it happens is way different than the fifth or sixth time it happens. Because by the fifth or sixth time, you're like, okay, you're more established, you're more comfortable, your other skills might have grown, and you realize that's a possibility. But you're winning all these amateur fights, you're dominating with this specific skill set. You don't even think of it as a possibility that someone can stop you, right? And then when they do, you're like, you're like, what's going on? Right? This is super foreign to me. And then you have to make the in-fight adjustments, which are hard to do if you haven't had to yet.
At the same time, you also, you know, through time, when you wrestle at a high level, guys do stop you. So you have the experience of going, okay, I'm going to have to go again. I'm going to have to switch off to something else. I'm going to have to outsmart them. Like, the experience of wrestling and being stopped in wrestling is still a part of your experience too. It maybe not in the cage, but in your life it is.
Right.
But yeah, when you're the guy who takes everyone down and you're in a title fight here in your hometown or with your gym and everybody's there, again, he gets stopped. But watch and see if he punches out. Frankie Edgar started to then get your reaction and punch on your reaction, right? So let's see if he does that.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference here in the striking is that Joseph's throwing one big shot and Rocky's just throwing a ton of volume when he goes.
So this Rocky's a good fighter, man. Yeah. Highly focused.
Looks like a little cut over the left eye, maybe.
Yeah. He would be surprised to see any blood come on his glove after. He'd be like, I can't be bleeding. I'm winning.
Right.
You know.
Joseph's got a cut on the left side of his head as well.
Ooh, look for the uppercut on the drop.
there.
Man, is he good. Do you remember the first time you saw your own blood in a fight?
Oh, yeah. I'll show you some pictures later. It was rough. My first title fight, actually.
Yeah.
I ate a flying knee, split me wide open.
I remember taking a guy down and then on top of him and seeing my blood start landing on his chest. And it was a real distraction the first time. It really was. Now it took you out of that moment. But over time, it's just a normal thing, right?
Yeah, but then there's other things you worry about. Yeah, he got in deep, but see, he's in a bad position still. You know, Rocky's doing a good job of keeping that whizzer. Good chain wrestling.
Good work. But that's the experience. It's like, oh, I won't just some of these top guys. I'm not going to get him with my one shot.
Oh, and that overhand clipped him right there.
Sure did.
Rocky threw a wild overhand, missed. Joseph was able to land it right in the counter sequence.
You get a feeling if Joseph wins this minute, he'll be around a piece.
Yeah, what Joseph needs to do is feint his wrestling and throw his hands off his wrestling.
Yes, and you can even begin the wrestling, engage in it slightly, enough to make it real.
Definitely much easier said than done when you don't have a bulldog like Rocky Nava throwing hands in your face.
I know. I like this Rocky kid. Also, I don't know if his actual name is Rocky, but it should be, and now he's taking you down. It's a tough thing.
It's smart game plan here. There's
Really
40
good.
seconds left. He's going to steal the round probably with this takedown.
Rocky did take him down right in Joseph's corner, right in front of Coach Gilbert Smith and Dylan King. What should they be offering him?
I mean, he's got to get the head position back. He's got to make space. The key to grappling defense is space. He's got to make the space. He does.
Yep.
The Rocky's right back in his face, man. He doesn't take a back step.
And here I was a minute ago talking about how Joseph could take this round. I don't think anybody's thinking that now at all, right? I think this is a Rocky round.
Yeah, unless maybe Joseph finishes on top. Good defense.
Just beautiful. Just real simple responses. And then right back to the knuckles.
Yeah.
Rocky's just really aware of where his hips are in space.
Yeah, and he does a good job of, he doesn't just sprawl, he meets you, and then he sprawls.
Yeah, he hits your face with his hip.
Yeah, he's meeting the contact, creating the space, and then sprawling.
And when we watch fighting, people will, and people who maybe don't fight will yell, sprawl, sprawl, as if that's the be-all, end-all. But that's only the beginning.
Right.
That is the lowest level of response. And he's able to make that work,
It's because he does everything else right. He meets with the hips, then he sprawls, but then he's ready for the chain wrestling. Joseph's going to single to double off, and he's ready to meet him with his hips.
God, it's high level. Here's guys with only a few amateur fight. Look how high level this is.
Yeah, and their pace is awesome.
Yeah.
They're both in shape. Yeah. I really think, Joseph needs to finish this round. He's got to feint the wrestling and throw heavy, Normally I'd say touch, but it's hard because Rocky's meeting everything with his hips, and he's meeting it with 4 shots back.
Stephen Wonderboy Thompson's dad, Ray Thompson, his coach, is a good friend of mine. And Ray's always like, the best feint is real. Right, and it's true. Not so much. We don't want him to feint the wrestling. We want him to begin the wrestling.
Yeah.
Begin it enough that it's real. That'll get the response.
Very valid point right there. Just to make him have to honor that look, especially someone who
honor that look.
Experienced.
That's beautifully said.
And especially when you have someone who is experienced on the other side, they know when you're getting a BS look, right?
Yep.
They know when you're giving it a half-assed attempt and you're not really going full bore for it.
Oh.
Joseph Hurd clipped
Yes.
Rocky.
Yep.
Rocky's in trouble right now.
He's got to go. It's all off of his wrestling that's creating these big strikes he's landing.
Rocky stumbled right there again.
Landed on the ear. And Rocky just does what Rocky's been doing. And
He's living up to the name.
Yep. And when you know you can handle this engagement here, like you point out, Cody, he can go forward. He can just keep going forward. He's proven it over and over and over. He's going to get.
He's not worried about the wrestling. He's not worried about the power.
Yeah.
He's just walking him down. And that's demoralizing. You know, it's tough when you're landing big shots. And you're like, I'm going to get him out of there.
Yeah. Two really good, talented, hard-working kids. I dig it.
Yeah, that's a great. I mean, and that's what I'm saying. You see amateurs with pro.
Joseph Hurst starting to come on in this
Yes,
third round.
he is. And that was just a little head fake. Just a little head feint. That's all he did. Oh, God. And Joseph, and you'll hear who wants it more, right? We'll hear, we talk about cliches. Dude wants it. Like, Joseph wants to win this fight bad. But obviously, the man you're facing does too, right?
What a crazy war of attrition between these two flyweights right here, trying to capture that amateur belt tonight.
I think if I'm Joseph, honestly, I'm going to bail here and go back to striking. He's having success. He needs a finish.
We're losing
Even if
time.
you take him down,
Yep.
Are we going to finish him on the ground? You know, I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, with just a minute left in the contest, I think he's best off to disengage and try to get back to the feet. Unless
He's
he can
going to the
somehow
back.
get to the back.
Yeah, he does get to the back. But I don't know if I just heard 15 seconds or not. I just heard
50.
Okay, 50. Because I just heard a tapping. And so that can be distracting. You know?
But here, like, you're not winning here.
Yep, no.
You know, you're winning the minutes, you're winning the round, but you know you're down 2-1.
You can step out and try to head kick from here.
Yeah.
You know, there are things you can do to
Almost,
try to put
you should hit that push kick like we were just talking
yes,
about.
Yes. Oh,
He just missed on that big scoop and uppercut as Rocky was trying to come back to his feet.
oh, he's gashed. Is he gashed?
He's gashing the side of his head.
Okay. Yeah.
The blood's just kind of running over.
Okay, good.
I don't know why he stopped
Yeah.
it, to be honest.
Yeah, well,
And Austin
because
Martinez
it's in a streak, on the first glance, the ref can be like, is his face cut open?
Fair point.
And he's a human, right? Like, you know, the ref's not doing a good job. He's just looking and going, I can't have a guy with a gash, and then he get cleaned up, and he realized, okay, it's on the side of his head, we're good. I thought it for a second. It was the
I
first.
kind of like the break because now these guys are going to go ham for the next 20 seconds, I guess.
Yeah,
That's one benefit to the break.
100. Yeah.
They're
yeah.
meeting in the middle and
Yep.
they're throwing leather.
Yeah. Such a great fight. You hate that only one's going to win it. Like, not that I want to draw either. Somebody wants to, you know. Oh, awesome.
What
Awesome.
an incredible fight, ladies and gentlemen. That is everything that you could have asked for in a title fight.
I traveled for, I think, 15 hours today. And now I made it all worth it. The second I sat down here with you guys, it was worth it. But something like that, I mean.
It's nice when you get to watch a
That's-
pro-level
yeah.
AME title fight.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't even know what pro level is anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, and whatever it is today, in 16 weeks, it's going to be totally different then.
for sure.
You know? But that's part of what you love about
It's
it, right?
crazy. Both
That-
those guys got 2 fights under their belt.
That's nuts. That's not right. That's not right.
2 fights under their belt. Wow.
And when we mention that, talking about these early guys, you know, these guys that are early on in their career doing this, and you just say, take the clock back to those early seasons of, say, The Ultimate Fighter. A lot of these young amateurs are more technically sound and proficient than a fair amount of those fighters on those early seasons that we saw.
This is sacrilegious what I'm going to say, but these guys would have beaten Hoist Gracie, like, at the time. Like, they would have, you know, him then, right? And there would, my Twitter might just explode with it, but it's true. Like, it is a higher level of technology.
It's a different
They're
thing,
iPhone
yeah.
15s, right? You know, that was a flip phone.
It's like, I always say the same
Great
thing.
analogy.
In relation to wrestling, everyone loves the great Dan Gable. Dan Gable couldn't hold anyone's jock in college.
Not today.
It's
Not
just,
today.
It's just a different sport almost. than
And
what
that's
he was
not a
competing in.
criticism. You weren't supposed to be the best
You didn't have,
forever.
you
were
didn't
supposed
have
to,
the tools
That's right.
to be what people are now. You just didn't have the tools.
And with all the tools that were available, you were the best.
Yeah.
You know, and that's
Awesome.
That's awesome. You can only be, you know, the right guy wanted.